Well, how want the children to do? This year the Queen Quet head from the body of this year Gullah Geechee Nation, and so glad it, but say happy holidays to all the 100 children with a join we for Gullah Geechee TV Nation News. And so glad that 100 children been to tune in and join me all this year air, all the airs we done been on the air and things like that. And so I'm so glad if I have one chance, but do a show right here from my hometown and things like that, Beaufort, South Carolina. Now, plenty of time when 100 children to see me, yeah, 100 see me there in the summertime during the Gullah Festival and things like that. Well, right where I am now is the Henry C. Chambers Waterfront Park, and this is where we host the Gullah Festival every Memorial Day weekend, last weekend in May. But this is not the only historic event that goes on in Beaufort, nor was it the only history that took place in Beaufort. Beaufort has our story and his story laced in the very ground that we walk on. Many of the people who have fought for the freedom of many others came from Beaufort, South Carolina, and from the Gullah Geechee Nation. And here it is that we are in a county that gave birth to fighters like Joe Frazier, who you will also see an episode coming up about. We gave birth to a fighter like this man that we're focused on this episode today, Robert Smalls. And of course, 100 children know this year where we come from and things like that. So right in the waterways is that warrior spirit, that fighter spirit, that spirit of freedom. The heartbeat is the drum itself that signals that it's time to get up, stand up, it's time to march, it's time to go. So for many, many years, I wondered why these stories of people who were birthed right here in Beaufort, South Carolina were not being told to the tourists, were not being told in the books. If you did not know someone in the family or in the community that could pass down the stories through oral tradition, or if you did not interact with the families of these fighters that I'm talking about here today, you would not have known that they existed. Many people will tell me they wouldn't know I exist if they would have come to many of these areas in these cities and not see any information that depicts all of the international human rights work on behalf of Gullah Geechees. Well, when I walk into the United Nations, when I walk into Congress, when I walk into a General Assembly and a state legislature, I am actually walking in a pathway that was blazed by Robert Smalls, the Gullah statesman. This man, who was actually born here in this town of Beaufort, but his mother Lydia was born right across this river on the next island, Ladies Island. And she later then was enslaved here in the town of Beaufort at the McKee house, that now if you come to town, you ask for the Robert Smalls house and folks can direct you to it. So there's so much of his blood, sweat, and tears, and his story and his family's journey still here, literally on the ground, for everyone to come and to see, to feel, and to experience. So I'm proud that my walking into doors of even what were plantation homes, like the Verdier House, many years ago when we first started the Gullah Geechee Sea Island Coalition, was not in vain. Because at that time, the story was only of the history of enslavement in this county. And we are now in another generation of people that truly understand and understand the value of telling the whole story. So here it is. I want you to journey with me inside the halls of one of these historic homes here in Beaufort, South Carolina, the Verdier House, so that you can see what they are now doing to tell the story of who we be down here, especially through the eyes of Robert Smalls and the journey he took from enslavement to freedom and standing up for the people. So 100 children know, if 100 are there with me, that 100 going know that this year, that what going on. So now, how 100 children to do this year, the Queen Quet coming to 100 one more again for this year Gullah Geechee TV Nation News. Now, I got this young lady who some of the children gonna recognize the name. Betsy Kinghorn. Now, I know y'all gonna start right off and pause right there because you done hear the Kinghorn insurance. Yeah, she came to the full pro Kinghorn insurance. But that ain't why we got she this year day. We got she for cracker teeth, but this year place where we did in, the Verdier House in downtown Beaufort, South Carolina. Now, for all of you who are not from the Gullah Geechee Nation, when you go to a map, you see in North Carolina this place that's spelled the same place, same way the place we're in South Carolina is spelled. But in North Carolina it's called Beaufort, and we are in Beaufort, South Carolina. Same spelling, different pronunciation, and this is beautiful Beaufort by the sea. And so a lot of tourists come to Beaufort every year to be along our historic street, Bay Street, which is where we are at the Verdier House, which is one of the historic homes that's here on Bay Street. And I'm so glad to have Betsy here with me today, who volunteers, who does all these things here at the Verdier House and with the Historic Beaufort Foundation. And so I know South Carolina's home, though, right? Just like homegrown. Absolutely. Yes, but you know, our state has so much history in it. And we could just walk down the road and something powerful that someone read in a book somewhere else happened.
And Beaufort has more history than any place in South Carolina.
Yes, it seems so, it seems so. So I take it you must love history to be here at the Verdier House. What made you begin to be involved in the Verdier House? And I know you were the person that told me about a special exhibition that you have running at the Verdier House now. Why did that exhibit come here?
The Verdier House for years, ever since the 1970s, has been open as a house museum. It was saved from demolition back in the 1940s by a group of people who said, we do not want to lose that early 1800s house because it was the Lafayette building where the Marquis de Lafayette came and spoke to the people from the town. It was rescued and turned, it was redone on the inside, turned into a house museum in the 1970s, and stayed a house museum with tours offered through for tourists and for Beaufort people and anyone who would like to come until early last year, when we had a dream that we could do more with the Verdier House than has been done. It is already a symbol of Beaufort's planter history, if you want that, but it stood here for far more than that. There were two Verdier families who lived here before the Civil War. During the Civil War, this house was a post headquarters of the Union Army, yes, and an Adjutant General's headquarters. After the Civil War, it became the first Beaufort telephone exchange. It had the first ticket railway office, or railway ticket office. It had a barber shop. It was partially rented out to be living space for people. It became a commercial building and was not kept up very well, even though the Verdier family somehow had retained ownership of it. But in the 1940s, it became the property of a committee to save the Lafayette building. And that has turned into Historic Beaufort Foundation, who then fixed up the house, restored the house to its beautiful architectural splendor, and offered tours as a house museum. But the house also was here through the Civil War, and so has Civil War stories to tell. The house was here through Reconstruction, and so has stories about Robert Smalls and Reconstruction to tell. And we hope to be able to use this space to tell more about Beaufort's history than has been told in the past.
And I am so glad to hear you say that, because I remember when I first came to the Verdier House, and I didn't let them know I was a native of the area, but I came in with a group of folks that had come from the Northeast. And at that time, the docents wore the Southern Belle outfit, and you know, they opened the door, and how
cartoon.
That was part of Beaufort's
history. But then they were only telling pretty much the planter story, as you said, the enslavement era story.
Exactly.
And then it would be like, and then the Civil War happened, and the story ends. And so I was like, but the story didn't.
And the story kept going.
Right.
This was an art school during the Depression, this room.
Right.
Many different things happened in this
right
house.
here in this
And
house.
we're very proud of that history
Right.
of the house and want to tell more of it.
And that is wonderful that we're coming forward in time. And so with that forward thinking there, you mentioned someone in the midst of all the stories you said this house had to tell, and you mentioned Robert Smalls. And so I know this is an opportunity you all have to tell Robert Smalls' story from this house and not just from the Robert Smalls house now.
Exactly.
What made Historic Beaufort Foundation and Verdier House committees and everybody who volunteers here decide this is a place to bring this exhibit? Why bring it here?
The vision of the Verdier House Committee became that we would like to tell other portions of Beaufort's history as we could.
Right.
This exhibit became available through the South Carolina State Museum.
Okay.
It was put together. Helen Moore brought all this together. She was Robert Small's great-granddaughter, and she brought all this together, but she arranged so that it could be toured through the South Carolina State Museum.
Yeah.
And they were offering it to museums in special places.
Okay.
We found that it was available here, that it could be available at this time. We were so proud that we were getting it before Charleston did. But we have had this exhibit in this place since about the 1st of October. And it will be closing the 20th of December.
Yes.
And so, and moving on to another venue
there.
and other
Locations around
other
the
things
country.
will be coming in
here.
also in this place.
Right.
It took it took a good bit of dedication to get Robert Small's story here, though. There is a cost, a fairly significant cost that we pay to the State Museum to be able to have it here. Part of that we got a grant for, but other parts of it we had to pay for through Historic Beaufort Foundation.
So
we had to pay to bring it from Atlanta to this place and have it unpacked and hung here, and we'll have to pay to pack it back up and ship it off to the next location. So there was a significant cost involved, and the people from Historic Beaufort Foundation decided that was a good use for this space, a good educational opportunity for Historic Beaufort Foundation to offer something to Beaufort.
Wonderful.
And we went ahead with it and have truly enjoyed having the story here.
Wonderful, and I'm so glad that they took the time to truly invest in having the story here, because a lot of times, if people are museum goers like myself, and I'm sure you are as well, and you travel, and you see things already hung, you don't know the background of what it took for it to get in there and get hung. You don't, and as a researcher and a historian, they don't realize all that you have to go through. That's why most historians, we wear eyeglasses, because we end up in these places dimly lit, you know, with the little gloves on, going through materials and archives, and then to bring it all together to do just what you said, tell the story. And so that then someone else can be educated and hopefully leave and share that story and their experience with others. So we definitely give a thumbs up to HBF for bringing it, for making that kind of commitment and investment, not only to Beaufort, but to the entire Gullah Geechee Nation. And I know the Robert Smalls family, they are very pleased to know that this kind of partnership exists here.
Since Historic Beaufort Foundation owns several pieces of Robert Smalls' history, and we have combined those with the exhibit, but we own the desk that he used as a customs agent during his later years. We own a model of the planter that Dennis Kennedy put together.
Yes.
We own several things and are hoping to keep a smaller Robert Smalls room in the future.
Excellent.
There are no definite plans for opening that, but we hope that that will be able to be more of a permanent piece of history that we keep here because Robert Smalls has a fascinating story and is very much a part of the Beaufort's history through a good section of its history.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm loving what I'm hearing because this will be yet one more stop that people who come a lot of times during even Black History Month, African Heritage Month to Beaufort, and they say, well, what's going on?
And we would love to have more people from Beaufort to come. Our tourists come from all over the country.
All the time, right?
But Beaufort people need to realize that there is history here and that it is a varied history.
Absolutely.
We have a military history exhibit in one of the rooms downstairs that is also very interesting. It is not Robert Smalls, but there are other things that will be shown here in the future also. And Beaufort people who live in this place and share in these names and this history need to be able to come here and see these things.
Absolutely right. And you know, don't feel bad though, because a lot of New Yorkers have never gone to the Statue of Liberty.
Oh,
for some odd reason. People in their own cities always think there's nothing there and I need to go somewhere else. But I'm telling you, if you are a native of Beaufort County, South Carolina, for the rest of your life, you could travel these roads, across these creeks, across the rivers, up and down and in and out of buildings, and learn more than you could ever imagine, and still leave something for another lifetime to learn about and from. So I'm so glad that you all are adding this one more piece here. I look forward to hearing about when you do have the permanent Robert Smalls room so we can come back and talk some more about that. And so in the meantime, you are heard. You don't have much time after this broadcast if you're coming to Beaufort to see this exhibition because it closes on December 20th. But guess what? If you get here in the early part of the day, you can come see the Robert Smalls exhibit at the Verdea House on Bay Street. Go enjoy the town, eat some of the good food, go on to St. Helena, nyam something over the Gullah Grove and everything like that, and then come back and meet me at the Beaufort County Public Library that evening at 6 o'clock for the Gullah Geechee Sea Island Coalition Anniversary Celebration. So we're going to continue the celebration just down the block from here. So it'll be almost like a perfect closing to this exhibition and opening up the doors to the new Harmonies exhibition. And I just think harmony is the perfect word for what Betsy and I have been talking about with so much of the story that's here in Beaufort and how it all comes together. And so, children, come here to Beaufort, South Kakalaki and join me and yet about who we be down here, Robert Smalls and all the rest. So thank you, children. Join me here for the exhibit closed now. Don't go out the rest of the place. Come here to Beaufort, and if you come at another time, still drop by the Verdea House, and trust me, they will greet you with a smile here at beautiful Beaufort by the sea. Come for join me. Peace and blessings.
Stay in the field, oh, stay in the field, stay in the field until the boys and